Yo, what is up guys? My name is Silk, and today we are flying out the only good plane left in Battlefield 5. Well, maybe aside from some bomber type planes, but as far as fighters go, you know, the stuff I really like playing with, this is the only one that's still really good, I think. So, the Bf109 G6, the best plane in the game right now. Well, I definitely think so, and in this gameplay we get 102 kills, and I'll be showing you guys exactly how to do the same, what loadouts to run, how to just generally fly the plane, and all the tips and tricks I've picked up on the way to being able to farm this plane in BF5. Now, this plane is actually my favourite plane in the game just because of how good it was at the start of Battlefield 5. Man, this thing was the best thing in the game by a long shot. It had these explosive cannons and you could just rail like 5 infantry a strafe with them, and they were really accurate and just fun to use. So I really enjoyed flying this thing at the start of the game, but then they nerfed those by an insane amount. They became useless, and we went on to other things. But now finally we are back in the G6, guys, and it is pretty good. And before I start the video, I'm going to show you guys the loadout I'm running. I won't waste you guys' time putting it at some random part during the video. These are the things I use, and throughout the gameplay I'll be explaining how I use the weapons and the strategies you want to implement with this plane to make sure you get a really good score. Okay, so we're here in the menu of Battlefield 5, and you're going to want to navigate to the G6 in the plane section. So just go airplanes, Germans, find the G6, there it is, and then go into specializations. Now, the first thing you want to know is that the most essential upgrade is the level 3 rocket pods. That is a level you need to get this plane to before you can do any real farming, and it's the most essential thing. But the first weapon's going to be the 4x HMGs. You don't dogfight much in this game, but it is very nice having an insurance policy where if you need to smoke someone real quick, these HMGs are really good. Some of the best air-to-air guns in the game. Now for the second upgrade, I'm going to choose fin barrels here, but high altitude package is a very solid upgrade. The reason why I don't use it is because I do think it's a bit cheesy. What you can do if someone's on your 6 with this upgrade is just fly to the skybox, and if they don't have it on their plane, they can't follow you up there. They'll stall out and then you can come back down on them. I've had someone do this to me the other day, and it was just so annoying to play against. I thought, oh, there's no way I'm going to use this upgrade. I'd rather take the fin barrels, which actually will help me shooting the targets, rather than something that I don't really need to rely on. I'd rather get better at the game if I'm going to die to someone, and, you know, let my own skills control my destiny. So fin barrels is what I choose here. It decreases the cooldown of your HMGs. Really good upgrade. Now here we need to get the rocket pods. It's very essential. You need a ranged weapon at all times in Battlefield 5, otherwise you're going to get AA'd from across the map, so the rocket pods are the best option here. They one-shot infantry, and you can kill groups of infantry even with a single rocket, so they're very strong. And they are a little bit tricky to use, but I'll show you guys how to use them. And then the last upgrade, reinforced wings, that's a no-brainer. Basically, if your wing gets clipped in this game, you're going to lose some turning speed, and your plane is going to roll in the direction of your wing brake, so if your brake's on the right wing, I think it rolls to the right. It doesn't matter which way it rolls, it's annoying either way, and you need to have your wings as strong as possible in this game. So those are the upgrades I use, and I think aside from the high alt package maybe being a little bit better if you want to cheese it, this is the best thing to run, and it's going to help you actually get better at the game rather than flying to the skybox. So this is the G6, guys. This is the best plane in the game, and it's the one you'll want to be using on the German side without a doubt, and on the Brits I guess you could use the VB, but this thing really just dominates. So I didn't think this plane was the greatest thing when I first flew it out. I thought it was a little bit underwhelming, and I was hitting tanks all the time with the rockets, and that's what I tried to do all the time. And I messaged a friend because he had been recommending it to me, and he showed me the spec tree. His name's iMashButtons, excellent pilot, and he's a controller pilot as well actually, so he shows just how much you can get done on Xbox. Really good pilot, link in the description. Anyways, I couldn't really figure it out. I was getting decent games, I wasn't really dying at all, but I was only racking up maybe 40 kills in a conquest match, so I hit him up and he was kind enough to just stream a full game, and I was in the chat just asking him questions, and I learnt so much from watching him, and now we've got it to the point where I think I can farm in this plane. He literally just went 118-0 in the first game he played, and he showed me just how good this thing can really be. So the best map right here to fly this plane is Hamada Breakthrough. This is the new Iwo Jima, I guess, that's what he called it. So it's the best farm, and the way you're going to get a lot of kills on this map is actually just by playing it. You're going to have to find where the kills end up stacking up. It is kind of hard to do, and I haven't quite done it yet, so I think I'll make a video later on showing you guys where to shoot for kills, but for the most part your team will do a lot of spotting for you and you can get them that way. But the first thing you need to know as well is don't go for tanks. That was the first mistake that I made. Unless it's a small tank or a tank that's already been hit up, you're just going to waste your rockets on it. Especially if it's a heavy tank like a Churchill, you're never really going to kill it with the rockets. It's just going to take way too long. The next thing you need to know is don't go for bombers unless they're too weak to really survive one run. Otherwise you're going to spend a long time going for the bombers, and if you fly near their spawn you're going to get AA'd. What you do need to go for though is fighters. Fighters are a big threat to you still, and some fighter pilots will go straight for you, some won't. So I'll leave some up that are really harmless to me, but if I think it's a good fighter pilot, I'm going to go for him straight away. That's very important. So, what do we go for? Well, with this plane, you're going to be going for infantry, because the rockets are very effective against infantry, and honestly, not really much else. They're alright against planes, but they will one-shot infantry. So what you want to do, you fly in, if you see someone, shoot one rocket at them, see another person, shoot another rocket at them, as you're seeing here, and you want to pull off early. What you're going to have to understand, guys, and this is what I kept on telling Buttons, I was like, man, you're in Flieger range, how are you flying like this? You have to get away from here. And he told me that no matter what, you're going to be in AA range, and that's just the sad part about Battlefield 5 now. The AA can hit you from absolutely everywhere, so you just have to manage your risks as best you can. And you will learn that, you know, there is a point where you should be pulling off, and there's a point where you're way too close. And you'll just get that feeling eventually, after you've died to a few Fliegers, of where that point is. But every single strafe here, I'm in AA range, and I just have to accept that that's something that's going to be the case with this game now. So I've talked a bit about threats and how to fly, but how do we actually get kills on the ground with this plane? Well, as I'm sure you've already seen, we are using the rocket pods for almost all our kills here. The 4x HMGs should be used strictly for killing aircrafts. When you're going for a strafing run with guns now, the enemy will be alerted by the sound and the suppression you make, and it will be a much more obvious kill for the Fliegerfaust. They also have much less range than the rockets, and you will get far too close to use them. So in the G6, we want to start out by flying in from an angle about 45 to 65 degrees above the ground. This is a good angle because any lower and it'll become much harder to get good splash damage with your rockets, and much higher and your plane accelerates way too fast against the ground, and you won't have enough time to spot and kill a target. Now if you acquire a target, which you should already be doing through free looking and rear view, fire the rockets and pull out. If you don't acquire a target, don't commit to the strafe, just pull off and try again. You should also be remembering to take notes of where all the enemies are and try to create a little map in your head of where to go for your next strafe. I always do this after my strafe, or while I'm strafing. I may not go for a certain kill, but I'll remember exactly where that guy is, and I'll try to remember where he's going. This is really useful to do, and I do this in all the planes. Now for firing the rockets, which is something I found a bit tricky at first, because they're wing mounted. Wing mounted rockets are calibrated to have a convergence point, which is where the rockets cross over each other, and they're the most accurate. Now you don't always need to consider the convergence point, but it's important to understand that in extreme ranges where you're going to be engaging like an AA or something, you must account for convergence and bullet drop. While bullet drop is very simple to account for, simply aim above the target, convergence requires a bit more understanding. Now if you don't understand it, my boy Picasso busted out MS Paint and drew up a little diagram for us. As you can see here, we got the Bf109 Stealth Extractor, and the rockets are on either wing. Now the right rocket will fire first, and the left rocket will fire second, and as you can see, there is a convergence point where they both cross over each other. Now what you need to understand is that because the right one fires first, you aim to the right of the target for the first rocket, and then for the left rocket, you need to aim to the left of the target for that one to hit. This is only really necessary at extreme ranges, such as when you're trying to cross map an AA, and at these ranges you'll also need to aim a bit above the target. None of this is really an exact science, but the further away, the more you need to account for these factors. It's something you're just going to have to practice and get used to. It took me about half a game to get used to it. It might take some people longer, some people might get it quicker, but all you need to do is practice. I think anyone can get the hang of this. Now, while I don't recommend going for bombers, the rocket's also very good against those. What I'll usually do is I'll get up behind the bomber, spray it in with the cannons until he switches seats, and as soon as he switches seats, it's an easy shot to hit the rockets because he can't move. Hit both the rockets, switch back to the cannons and kill him. That's the way I usually kill a bomber. Even though I don't really go for them that much, if there's nothing else to kill, then that's fair enough, I'll go for that. Now against fighters, they do about 60 damage I think, unless you hit it head on, which I believe they insta-kill actually. And if you get a head on rocket, then take that. Otherwise, if you're dogfighting someone, it might be better to just use the cannons, because they do pretty good damage per second. If you're out of the cannons though, or if they overheat, then the rockets are also a good option. Now, as of the Bf109 rework, this plane also comes stock with nitrous, which is a really good upgrade for both dogfighting and actually farming. So how I use the nitrous is pretty simple. If I'm going vertical on a loop or burning a lot of energy, such as using my rudders, I'll tap the nitrous on and off and it will help me turn faster. While I'm in a dogfight, I'm also pretty much always holding down W unless I'm trying to break someone off my 6. Now, after I go in for a strafe, I also use my nitrous a lot. So, as soon as I finish a strafe, I'll put on the nitro, hit it and get to the resupply as fast as I can. This really increases the amount of kills I can get, and it is a pretty useful little thing to do. I also use my nitro to get back up to the skybox or wherever I'm strafing from. In this case, it's about 65 degrees and it gets there really quickly, hit the nitro again, back to the resup. And that's pretty much the rhythm you want to get into to make sure you get the most KPM, kills per minute, out of your plane. Now another little tip with the nitro is that it has a cooldown and you can actually manage it so you can use it whenever you want. So in a sec when I use the nitro, in the bottom right of the screen you'll see a little circle, and that circle gets cycled around as your nitro depletes. Now if you get the circle over halfway, the nitro will go red, and then as soon as you let go of it you won't be able to have it back until it regens back to halfway. So what you can do to get around this is know how to manage your nitro. So basically all it really does is it increases your acceleration, and once you hit your top speed it doesn't really do anything. So I use nitro for maybe 1 or 2 seconds on a dive to make sure I get back to the resup faster, and after that there's no reason to keep it on. You're already at your top speed, you may as well start letting it regen. Now in the vertical I always burn it all the way because by the time I get done with my strafe it'll be back ready for me. In a dogfight you want to be making sure you keep it under half so you can use it whenever you need to do a opposite rudder, a regular rudder. I just crashed there, I'll explain that in a second. And if you're in a vertical loop, that's when you want to be tapping your nitro on, but you don't want to burn it over halfway, I don't think, otherwise you can't get it back for a solid 3 or 4 seconds. Now that crash there was something that just happens sometimes, man. It didn't happen much when I was playing only Battlefield 5 because I got really used to flying in this game, but after playing Battlefield 4 and learning you can keep your plane at 313, you can pull out a strafe whenever you want, and after something like 50,000 attack jet kills in Battlefield 4, I got so used to this, and those kills over the years, but it's something that's always kind of killed me here and there in Battlefield 5. Again, less when I play the game all the time, but right now I'm getting used to the planes a little bit again, and it's just going to take a minute to get used to, I think. But basically, you want to make sure that you pull out way earlier in this game, and sometimes you'll just get into this weird energy state where your plane will not pull up no matter what you do. And it is annoying, it's a painful death to take, but again this game kind of just goes like that sometimes. Now my first death in this game, so I ended up going I think 102 for 2 in this gameplay, and my first death was at the very start, and while I was watching iMash Buttons on his stream, he told me what you want to do every round is nitro straight to their spawn and kill the half track because it's sometimes filled with players. I went to go do this and there was a guy already waiting with a Flieger for me, and he also had another guy on the AA, so I just got railed by AA, and I decided to not put that in the video because it really isn't that interesting to watch. So yeah, that's pretty much how you farm in the Bf109 G6. Once you learn that rocket, leading and convergence, it becomes fairly easy. Just remember to fire about 1 rocket per target, and in this gameplay I'm still getting a little bit too close some of the time, so probably go a little bit further than I am if you can, but again you're just going to have to feel it out and learn the ranges for yourself. Remember to kill fighters, don't really have to kill bombers, don't really have to kill tanks unless they're small tanks. That's pretty much it. It's not too hard, and it can be learned to a pretty good level I think, and as time goes on I'm sure my gameplay will get better and better. Now for the rest of this gameplay I'm going to be talking through what I'm doing, just play by play decision making. So in this play right here, well I just know it's a common spot, right? It's on Hamada and I see traces coming from there, so I go and I hit it with rockets. Now in this next play, I believe we're still defending this last sector, and usually in between the buildings is a common spot, and then outside the back of the kind of like castle area is also another common spot. You got to think, if you play infantry yourself on this map, where do you often always find the whole team? And it's almost the same for every single map. So once you can learn those spots, maybe even do an infantry round, you can do that. Now here you can see me messing around with the pilot free look while you're controlling it. It's a setting I've been playing with lately, and there's a video coming out on that soon I think. I just have to get a bit better with it. And on this one I saw the AA shooting, so flick to the AA real quick, get it out of the way. It's a very big priority, and I need to make sure that my buddy in the JU-88, I'm playing with him right now in Discord, and I don't want him to die, because it's one of his first times flying it. Actually I don't think it is, but he doesn't fly a lot, so I want to make sure he has a decent experience and he can maximize his effectiveness. Again, hitting that same spot on top of the tower, pretty common spot to find a lot of enemies, and it is always good just to check that one out. Now we're just using our nitro to get back up to the skybox. I'm not afraid to burn it all, just get back up here as fast as I can and look for more kills. Here, I didn't really see too much. I think I saw an infantry there, and I just fired both rockets because I figured I was close enough to resupply to get some more. Now, I also see this plane flying out the side. I might go kill it. See what we end up doing. Can't really remember. Yeah, so he flies towards AA, so can't really engage it. Spitfire on my 6, I instantly switch towards him, and I'm using my rear cam to keep kind of doing these little switches towards him. Trying to use my camera, but I've got to make my scroll wheel more sensitive because that's what I have it bound to right now, so I can actually adjust that quicker because it's like 5 or 6 scrolls and it takes way too long. So I need to change that a little bit, but I'm sure once I get used to that, it's going to be really, really OP. Again, fire the rockets into the Spitfire because I don't have time to waste here. So you need to get him out the sky as quick as possible. There you go, Spitfire down, boost straight back towards the resupply, and get the repair on the way. Again, it's only a small repair, but every little bit counts in this Flieger meta, because as soon as I see a Flieger flying at me, what I'll do is I'll spam my 3 key and get the damage instantly removed, and then hopefully I don't get any more damage. So there's a Flieger there. I was spamming my 3 key at the time, and we pick up a huge feed. I just managed to spot a few enemies. I didn't think it was going to be that big, but that's how it ends up going sometimes. And we're going to be trying to cling on to these last few objectives. Now I'm going to go back and check the same spot for revives, and I see a Flieger there, pull off, and of course some of those players are revived. We hit at the same place again, and we get more. That's like you always have to remember, plane kills can be revived, so if you hit a huge feed, it's usually a magnet for medics to come and revive people. The smart ones will run away, but the dumb ones will always stay, so I like to get those kills. I see infantry down there, but I want to get the one closest to my friendly. Didn't end up getting him, just took 1 kill there. But I thought I saw someone closer to the team, which is the priority, because when you see enemies near the objectives, they can spawn a full squad. Like, one enemy is just one enemy, but if all their squad mates are dead, that can quickly become 4, and then they can start to get a grip onto the objective. Maybe another squad rocks up, and all of a sudden you're losing points. So killing people near the objectives has much more impact than killing a few people who are way at the back of the map. I've always said this, and I always believe this. Now we're going to take out the Spitfire again. It's pretty important that we get this done. He's out the sky, and because the bomber's right here, I think I may as well kill it as well, assuming that he doesn't go and get a repair. I'm just going to fix my wing because it's really annoying me, and that's exactly what I'm talking about with the wing damage. It's just a pain. You just don't want to deal with it. So go after the Blenheim, get as much damage as I can. I believe I do get him here. I'm committing pretty hard. I don't think I should commit this hard. And yeah, he ends up getting assist counts. I end up getting some sense into me, and I pulled off before I end up dying. But yeah, we committed way too hard for that kill. Again, going to be using my nitrous to get back up into the kind of range I like to engage from. And we're looking for kills. We see B's getting lost, so I'm preparing a strafe for B. The C's also lost, so I think I'll go there instead. Again, don't see anything, pull off. That's the way you should be doing it. It is still hard to hit a Flieger on a target that is moving fast and is really high up. But this AA is also going to be a threat to me now, so I'm going to shoot both my rockets off. Bit of a cocky move, but I want to get this kill, and then I'm going to go repair. Now, I don't know if I'm going to deal with this AA here. It might be something I address as a thing I can avoid, because if I can avoid the AA the whole time, and my teammates are losing the objectives, I'm just going to do what I have to do to win. But it looks like the AA is giving my friend trouble, so I'm going to try to hit it. Never mind, I don't know my own gameplay. I thought I hit it at this point, but I think I hit it a bit later because it starts to really annoy me. At this point right here, where the AA is hitting me in my spawn, this is when you just gotta flip the switch and just go kill the AA. It's really important that it ends up dying. But my team is also struggling as well, so it's just like, I don't know what to do. I think I killed it. No, I didn't kill it. Because I did edit some kills out because there was just not enough action, and yeah, the AA is still up, and it's being so annoying, but I am still making it work. I'm still getting kills. I'm just wasting more time repairing due to the AA. So I should really kill it, but I haven't really bothered yet. I do believe it killed my mate in the Ju-88 as well. And we end up seeing some people up there, so I'm just going to get those kills, or not. I don't know why the rockets don't kill sometimes. It doesn't really make sense to me when it's in a little box like that and the rocket hits inside there. I guess it's just something I'll have to pick up soon, but the AA is annoying, but I just can't really dedicate too much time to it. I'm firing at common spots here, so in that passageway is a very common position for enemies to stack up, so I'm not really seeing people at this point. I'm just learning about where the enemy likes to move, and I'm firing my rockets in those locations. It's kind of what you have to do on Hamada, which is somehow the best map, but this sector really does suck, guys. This is easily the worst sector to farm on, and it is pretty hard to actually get a good game when this sector is a lot of the proportion of the tickets. So speaking of good games, there's another trick that I learned from iMatch Buttons, and he said, well, it actually makes sense, you can just divide it out, but at the start of the game you get 500 tickets, which means if you want to hit 100 no, you're going to need to be getting about 10 kills per 50 tickets. So you can kind of schedule yourself and make sure that you're getting those kills in to actually ensure that you're going to get a good game. Now that's just what you want to aim for, right? Sometimes you'll get ahead of schedule and you'll get a good game, sometimes you get behind it if there's an AA tank or something, and that's just how it's going to go. So in this game, luckily, I didn't have any AA tanks, but I did have a lot of AA pressure, which I had to deal with throughout the game, because it is an Australian server, and a lot of the players do know that this is me on this account, and we have another guy in the JU88 who's also farming. Basically, it makes for a lot of AA pressure, and yeah, it is what it is. Well, you learn how to counter it, and at this range, I'm not really too fussed with the AA. Now I see him firing at my friendly though. I could have went for him there, but at this point, if we lose C, we lose the game, so I'm just desperately trying to get some rockets in there, and I haven't really been doing enough. It's a pretty rough situation right now. I've put up the best numbers I can, but our team is just absolutely clinging onto it, and I do want to win this game, so I'm trying to make the comeback happen. Again, getting one kill on an objective, that's much more meaningful than going and killing the AA. I mean, while the AA annoys me, he doesn't annoy anyone else, so I figure I may as well. I can leave him alive, and he'll annoy me, but at least he won't kill any friendlies. And I see a guy on our friendlies on the objective, so I kill him so he doesn't kill any friendly players. It's just a little move I make. Not only do I save our team a ticket and a player on the objective, but I get rid of one of theirs. And this is kind of what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to make sure that the enemy doesn't get any great positioning onto our friendlies. And yep, a little one rocket for a two-piece, and that's kind of how this plane works. You want to be shooting one rocket at a time, and it's something I have to work on more, because I sometimes just fire the both of them just to make sure I get a kill, but I really should just be more patient and just fire the one. I'm also getting in really close here. At this point, I don't really care if I die, I just want to win the game. And I didn't die there, I just cut it out because there was no action. Now there's a tank here, it's on low health, I'm going to kill it. So that's a tank kill right there. And we're going to go back and repair. I take the wrong route to repair, I should have went back to our team, and this is a fatal error, as you'll see in a moment. So, I'm flying around in their spawn, with my back to their spawn. What could go wrong? Well, I mean, if you guys played a lot of Battlefield 5, you'll know exactly what's about to happen. I do get the kill on the AA, but I end up getting a plane on my 6 and another AA behind me. And this plane is going to be not the death of me, but the death of my team. I do believe if I was able to focus on the objectives, with the amount of stacking the enemy would have done, I probably could have saved the game here. But unfortunately, I make the wrong decision by flying to their spawn. I leave my AA safety, and this plane has it out for me. So I'm going to have to defend against him for the entire rest of the game and commit to this dogfight. I see he switches down in the wrong direction, and instead of following him and killing him, I do try to go and get some more rockets and make one last attempt at saving it. Unfortunately, it was too little too late, and we don't end up winning this match despite my efforts. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked the video, like it. If you want to see more, subscribe, and that'll be it. I'll see you guys later. Take it easy.